Well, so far so good. That is looking more like it. This is what I had before. It's just the right height, fantastic. But this time it's right up against the wall. Because before things used to drop down behind. Not good. So all we now got to do is get our tackle back in here. Drawers filled up with stuff. And as before, everything all overflowed all over the place because I couldn't get it all in. But yeah, this is brilliant, isn't it? Well, it's brilliant for me. And it's brilliant for you. Because we'll be able to have a mess about and do things. I could do some more wooden blocks. But apart from that, everything is fine. Got to find me leads and stuff. And hopefully we can start playing around with stuff. Just thought I'd show you that. There we are. Look at that. Wow. Didn't take very long actually. But of course this side of the room's a different story. I'm never going to get into them cupboards. But I'll get some of this up in the loft, but I'm not using. I'll have to find somewhere else for me wine. I need some kind of storage method so I can store all these bottles. Should really go in the shed, it'd be ideal, but I haven't got a shed that's usable. Anyway, yeah, that's a start anyway. Right then, we're in the place where we're going to be doing all our electronics. Nearly got the bench sorted out. I need to get 2 beams, one on this side, a bit of 2x2 and a bit for the other side, because this is bowing in the middle. It's not really ideal for a workbench until we get that sorted out. So we need a couple of beams going across to help support this bench, and then I'll be able to set it up properly. At the moment it's a bit botchy, which I don't really like. So let's get back to this radio again. I said to you that this radio was working, and I thought it was all working. I thought it was. But I have found out that it's partly working. So I'm just going to show you what I've come across so far. This is medium wave. See, now we can see the front and see what it is we're doing. As you can see, we've got some modulation there.
Northbound, there's congestion around junction 7.
I think that will improve with replacing some capacitors. But when we get to long wave, where's the volume? Here's the volume. We've got long wave, but I don't know whether if we can improve on that one again by replacing capacitors. Like I say, we're going to have to test them. We are picking up some of the stronger channels. Sorry, I'll say that again. Some of the stronger stations. That's more accurate. But I think there's room for improvement. I think it should be a bit more, a bit more, a bit more activity is what I meant to say. But when you go on to VHS, that's full volume. We've got nothing. Absolutely nothing. There's a slight noise in the speaker, but no stations. So maybe we have got something to fix. Who knows? Now turning this around, I'm going to turn off the power first, because I don't short out any wires. It's a bit precarious. Getting back to the inside again. This is before we take it apart. Do you remember we was talking about this the valve socket, and we were saying, oh, maybe there's a valve that goes in there. Well, that's certainly what it looks like. But according to the schematic, there is no valve to go in there. Aha, schematic. See, it tells you all the things with this radio. And why have they used a valve socket? Well, they've used it for point-to-point soldering in this metal box. Now the schematic I've got, which I'm going to print off in a minute, is for this radio, but it's for long wave, medium wave, FM. This radio has got VHS, not FM. So the first thing we're going to have to do is obviously get this out the chassis. I'm going to leave this speaker in the I might do, I don't know, we'll see. I might take the speaker out, because if I put the case down on something, it's going to go straight through that cone. So I might take the speaker out of the case as well and put it somewhere safe and use a generic one just for testing purposes. I don't know if I can find it, but I got a speaker all encased in grill metal. All the back of it's all encased as well, so that I can, do anything I like to it and it won't damage the cone. That's what I tend to use when I'm working on radios. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get this out the chassis, go and get this schematic printed off, and then we'll start having a poke around. So I'll let you know when we get back to that. Okay. There we go. Oh, it's stiff. Oh, big long bolt. So I'll put that bolt back in here so we don't lose the bolt. Can't lose it now, can we? 'Cause it's in there. There's our bag of bits. Now we'll disconnect our wires, because this chassis is coming out of here today. Let's turn her over. I'm just going to remove these bottom screws first. No doubt the knobs will probably have to come off. Let's have a look at the knobs. Careful not to break the glass. Just gently, gently. Gently, gently. Just gently, gently. There we go, there's a knob. Just gently, gently does it. There we go, there's another knob. Move our soldering iron still on. Just gently, gently, gently. There we go. Yeah, it's dirty. Don't put too much force because you'll break it. Just gently, gently ease it off. Improvisation. There we go, off it goes onto the floor. Right, that's our knobs off. Bit tight. Have to be careful you didn't put too much pressure on this glass. You have to ease it on both sides to get it off. But it's off and we're all in one piece. So now we'll get the other screws undone on the bottom. Must admit I'm looking forward to working on this. Right, that's 4 screws undone. So theoretically it should just pull out. Theoretically. Nope. So it looks like we need to undo these nuts then. Don't have spanners. What we need is a box spanner, which I do not have. Let's go and find something to undo them with. Well, I finally managed to find a box spanner, which Polygon helped me lose. I had all these box spanners and things, but thanks to Polygon, threw my radio control flight box away with all my tools in it. Very kind of them, wasn't it? Oh, these are brass. And I looked all over eBay to see if I can find replacements. Not possible. It might be that we don't have to actually undo all these all the way, It might just slide out. Yeah, it just slides out. Look at that. Oh, cobwebs. Let's get these nuts back down here. Oh, look at all that. It just slides out even easier. Now we have an antenna attached here, so I'll have to kind of turn on our soldering iron again. Turn our soldering on again and wait for it to warm up. Everything is in the way. Get out of the way. There we go. And it's balanced precariously all over the place. Right, we're heating up our soldering iron again. Right, here's our schematic, which we downloaded from the internet. And I've been looking through this, as you do. See, there's our chassis. Look familiar? And there's our box. That's what's inside the metal box with the valve socket on top. 2 views of the FM unit. Right, it says here 2 views of the FM tuner unit. The valve base indicated is only used as a tag block for making connections. That's all it is. And there's the wiring diagram for that. I think that's the wiring. What's that? That's to do with FM alignment. IS stages connect FM signal generator via the 30 PF capacitor tester point X. No, we're not into that yet. We're a little way off from that yet. And there's what's underneath the chassis. So the chassis is actually the wrong way around. So we turn the chassis around facing the right way, the same as the schematic, we should be able to see some familiarities. And there is. See, there's the big capacitor there, C62. I can see that quite clearly. Yeah. And we can have a look at for this. X5. That's X5, whatever that's supposed to be. But it will tell us in the schematic what we need to know. And I'll read through it and try and remember the best way I can to tell you. Easier said than done, but there you go. So that's our chassis, and there's our wiring diagram, and there's our components arrangement. Yeah. So I think it's pretty likely that this is the right information for this radio. They may have changed their mind. There may have been originally an FM, and then decided later on, because it was more popular, change it to VHF. There might not be a lot of difference. Yeah, there's our components list. Transistor analyst, yeah, circuit description, tells you what it's all about. So when it's talking about FM, we will be looking at VHS and see where we stand as we go along. There's a list of our transistors. It's quite a good schematic, this actually. It tells you what all the parts are and where they are. Yeah. All I need now is to get a highlighter. So if we need to do anything, we can check it off against the schematic, like what John does. I haven't got a one yet. I had a whole pack of them before, but it'll all be dried up now. That was years ago. But yeah, but see here, I'm just going to zoom in on this bit here. Tells you there what the transistors are: FM, FM, AM, FM. You can see that, can't you? It's got collector base voltages. That's going to be handy. I've never seen that in a schematic for a long time. And there's our transistor layout. It's got a matching pair only. One reading given, not reading quoted. Yes, well, we can do that, can't we? And there's a 3-pin transistor there. Remember what I said in the other video, that this is germanium transistors. Yeah. And I think if I remember rightly, reading the schematic, I think all the yeah, it does here. There are two unusual features in the HMV 1421 receiver, quite apart from the fact that it is a transistorized AM/FM table receiver, are that it employs conventional wiring and a conventional pressed metal chassis, and that although the transistors are of the PNP type, the negative battery lead goes to the chassis, giving the circuit diagram an upside down look. The receiver employs 9 transistors for the I tripped up there. The receiver employs 9 transistors and 4 crystal diodes and covers the band is at 11 FM range and medium wave and long wave AM ranges. It has push-pull class B. Yeah. So what we need to do now is we need to set up an antenna. We need to find our speaker, and then we need to wire up our power, and then start probing around and having a look at things, see what voltages we've got maybe. Or I might set up a sound device, a radio playing or something, and put the connections across the electrolytics to see if they're lively or half dead. I think they'll be half dead. Now the other thing I thought of, the VHF in this radio might not have been working in the first place after someone else has possibly tampered with this. So we don't know. So we'll just have to see what the radio tells us. The radio will communicate to us things and we'll have to interpret them. Okay, that's it for the moment. Until I get all my other bits sorted out. I'm going to have to clean this chassis because my hands are getting grubby. So I think we'll do that next. I think we'll clean the chassis. I'm going to give this a bit of a clean. I wish I had my paintbrush, but I don't. I'm going to use a bit of rubbing alcohol just to get the worst off. I'm just getting the worst off, that's all. Try not to disturb these transistors. Holy mackerel. What a mess. Just putting a tiny dab on there. Coming up better, isn't it? Would be better with a paintbrush. If only I knew where my one was. Just fed up of getting a handful of rubbish on my hands, getting all mucky. That's got the worst of it off. We haven't got it all off because we can't get in everywhere. We need a paintbrush really. Yeah, that's looking a lot better, isn't it? I can please pick it up without getting a handful of something. Let's have a look at this end. I'm being careful not to get anything down these holes. We're just giving it a nice clean. Because if your hands get dirty, whatever it is you're trying to solder and do with the chassis is also going to get dirty. And we don't want to be doing that, do we? There's another little coil there. So we'll check the continuity of these coils, make sure they're all okay. Because you don't know what's been going on with this radio. While you're cleaning it, you're also having a look around for things. Getting yourself familiar with the chassis. Getting used to it. It's very important to get used to what you're working on. Getting familiar where things are, what they look like, what they feel like. No, I'm not going to make love to it. Just want it nice and clean and just get familiar with it. And you start to notice things. So I'm looking at everything. See, that coil's loose. That's no good. So with the vibration of the radio, that coil could move. So what we need is a dollop of wax on there to hold it in place. Yeah, see, it's all loose. See, you don't notice these things if you don't touch and have a look. Now, next thing I'm going to need is some WD-40, but I'm not going to go squirting it everywhere. I need to find a paintbrush like a hole in the head. Because we want to put some oil on these bearings. There's a fin there that's slightly bent. See if we can get it to go over. We've got to be careful we don't bend it too far. Yeah, that's gone over. And that one a little bit. It's not far out. Yeah, someone's definitely been interfering in here. We've got a spider here. Spider casing, as it were. Look at that. Yeah. Yes, I need to go and find either that. If I can't find a paintbrush, I'll buy one. I'll buy half a dozen. That's what happens when I lose things. Right, what we're going to do now is get our screws and things back in the in safety. So we need to get our knobs. Oh, I just knocked the camera. Sorry. Put all our knobs and bits in a little bag, because they will go missing. Bet you your life, see? Put it all in a little baggie.